Oh, yeah.
Hundreds of cenotes that make up the whole cave system. Among the several cenotes that make up the Sistema Saga 2 is Cenote Kalimba. It's located on the way to Koba and about 8 kilometers from Tulum. The cave is not too deep, with an average depth of about 33 feet. According to Mexican standards, Cenote Kalimba has a moderate flow. It flows towards the southeastern region into Gran Cenote. Both the German divers of Team 1 were quite experienced cave divers. One of them received his full cave diving certificate in 2012. He had been to Mexico several times to dive. He had about 150 to 200 dives of cave experience. The second diver in Team 1 also received a full cave diving certificate in 2015, although this was his second trip to Mexico. Team 2 and 3 planned their dive towards Box Chen. That meant when they got to the T-junction, which is just a few minutes of diving into the cave, they would take the left turn, and their first jump would be to the left side. Team 4, on the other hand, planned to do the bypass towards Cenote on the line. They would jump to the right when they go beyond the BOA restriction, and also turn right when they get to the T-junction. The dive plan and cause of the incident of Team 1 will be discussed later in full detail.
Where's everybody at out there, man? I see everybody else got people going live, man. Where they at, man?
Clip their stage tank on a line at the left side at about 15 minutes dive time. A stage tank is an extension tank used by divers during their exit. So Team 1 left their stage for use during their exit. After about an hour, the Team 1 went into the cave system. Team 2 started their dive, while Team 2 was at the first T-junction. They left the spot and continued their journey towards Box Chen, but they noticed that there were no other markers or any jumps installed. Team 2 finished their dive and surfaced, but discovered that Team 1 had not surfaced at Kalimba as it was planned. Cave system. It was now 2:30 p.m., about 4 hours after cave system. It was now 2:30 p.m., about 4 hours after Team 1 had started their dive, which raised the alarm that they were missing divers. Jeff Clark, a diver who was at the local shop, was the first to arrive at Kalimba to confirm the news he heard. After confirming the news, he went to call on other divers. Fortunately, he was able to find Kim Davidson and Johan Isaacson, who came with their dive gear from Mayan Blue, another cenote in Tulum. The divers, Jeff, Kim, Johan, and Paul, and other locals who gathered at the site already knew that the case was
What's up with you out there?
recovery. The missing divers had not surfaced at another cenote. Robbie Schmidler walked down to 4 different cenotes to confirm if they had surfaced in any of them. They went to Palamani, Box Chen, Oturu, and Grand Cenote. At all these 4 cenotes together with Kalimba, they were not found. While Robbie went and made arrangements for the search to
What's
begin,
up with you out there?
separated themselves into 2 teams. Johan and Kim were in search team A, and Jeff and Al were in search team B. The 2 teams were ready to begin the search, but had a little challenge due to the fact that they didn't know the dive plan of the missing divers. Fortunately, the other 3 teams that were with them in the morning knew that the Lithium Sunset section of the cave was part of their dive plan, and coupled with the fact that Team 4 met the first T-junction mark, though
What's up with you out there?
All about transparency with our customers. That means coverage with no jargon. When your policies aren't with honesty, we don't have insurance.
What's up with you out there? What's up with you out there? Oh man, I'm just chilling like a biggie wiggity giggly giggly.
That means coverage with no jargon. Policies aren't with honesty, we don't have insurance.
What's up with you out there? What's up with you out there? Oh man, I'm just chilling like a biggie wiggity giggly giggly. Ah, biggity man.
these 4 divers. These 3 boats became the guide for the search divers to locate. Search Team A was tasked with searching the mainline for its ground center equipment actions. They couldn't see inside
What's
of
up
the
with you
center.
out
They
there?
would search through ground center and locate
What's
it.
up with you out
Search Team
there?
B would go around the
Oh man,
missing
you know I'm
divers
just
and
chilling like
direct
a
them to
big
the team's access section, where they assumed that the missing divers
ah,
might
biggity
be
now.
located. So from the Lindsay Central section, they would
Oh,
proceed to
biggity
the
wagon
Tytus Clayton
now.
that was Team A's assigned search station. When the test phase began, search Team A entered the cave, and after about 15 minutes,
What's up with
search
you out
Team B
there?
also entered. Just 15 minutes into the
What's up with
dive,
you
they
out
found
there?
the missing diver stage
Oh
tanks
man, you know
connect to
I'm
the
just
main
chilling
line.
like a
They
big
continued the dive plan, and at the T-junction, they found one of
ah,
the missing
biggity
divers'
now.
tokens, marking the exit sign for its lower
Oh,
berth.
biggity
At the
wagon
T-junction,
now.
search Team A went left, going towards the main line. They got to the circle of Munch's Maze, and then the European Sunset section, but no divers were found. They continued diving and searching. Close to the dive line, they saw one of the missing divers'
Oh man,
portable
you know I'm
lights
just
on
chilling
the
like a
cave floor.
big
This was a sign that the missing divers could probably be
ah,
seen
biggity now.
along this spot. When search team A got to the
Oh,
top of
biggity
Paso del
wagon
Garto,
now.
which was about 50 minutes into the dive, they found the body on the top of the
Oh, now I get it. It's running a double up under trouble up.
Grand Cenote main lines. He was going towards the Grand Cenote main line. The two main lines were not connected by a pre-installed jump, so search team A attempted to jump to continue diving towards Cenote Virtual. They were going towards Cenote Virtual as they
Oh,
found a
biggity
double
wagon
arrow that
now.
marked the way to the closest exit. The body of the second missing diver was found
Oh,
within
now
the
I
Grand
get it. It's
Cenote
running a
main
double up
line
under
in the
trouble up.
Design Mod section. That was about 55 minutes of dive time. Search Team A confirmed the depth and location of these two missing divers. Having found the body of the two missing divers, Search Team A exited the cave from Cenote Colimba because they only intended searching for the bodies. The recovery was to take place the following morning. They met with the authorities that were already waiting for them at the surface to plan for the recovery of the two bodies. Search Team A spent about 2 hours in the search operation. The following morning, the recovery operation for the bodies of the two divers was completed. A team of 3 divers entered the water through Cenote Virtual to recover these bodies, and in less than an hour, they brought the bodies to the surface. The recovery had no complications, and proper documentation was made by the recovery team. The two missing divers took a camera when they were going into the cave. They intended to take the records of their dive with the camera. From the video they had shot, the dive plan and activities of these two divers were discovered. The two divers had entered through Colimba. They planned a single-stage video dive. They filmed all the activities going on throughout their dive. Both divers were alternating between the roles of cameraman and subject. They filmed some short videos of the passages they passed through. The video showed that the two divers dropped their stage tank on the main line along the first T-junction. In the video, it shows that they spent 28 minutes to get to the place where they put their stage tanks, instead of spending about 15 to 20 minutes at normal dive pace. This delay in pace could have been because of their videography activities. Using cameras during dives normally affects a lot of things, including dive pace. They continued into the cave through Colimba's main line where they got to the first T-junction, where they clicked the markers found when Team 4 was returning. They went to the box chin jump into Paso del Garto. From that point, they made a jump and then continued left to Munch's Maze. The line they were following ended with another jump. From there, they went back to the Paso del Garto line. They turned their dive close to the gap from Paso del Garto to the Grand Cenote main line. When their equipment was analyzed, there was no signs of malfunctioning from the equipment. The cause of the accident could be figured out with the diving equipment. The regulators and tanks were functioning properly when they were tested after the incident. They were both with their line markers, safety equipment like wet notes, line cutters, and backhoe lights, among others. After all, they were both experienced and certified divers, so they knew the necessary equipment to go in with. From their recovered wet notes, there were some messages written in German that revealed their intended destination. What brought about these divers' deaths became matters of contemplation. The navigational error that was initially reported as the cause was ruled out based on the messages discovered in the wet notes. And the sought out the nearest exit. However, they were not able to make it to the exit, and they both drowned. The next story in this marathon is a tragic incident involving a diver who went to recover the body of another diver who had been dead in the sinkhole for 10 years. It was quite unfortunate that the promise he made to the victim's parents to recover their son's body brought himself into big trouble. Bushman's Cove, also known as the Bushman's Hole, is a deep submerged freshwater sinkhole in the northern Cape province of South Africa. It's believed that Mike Rathborn, who was then an amateur diver, was the first diver who explored the Bushman's Hole in 1977. It's seen as a very challenging dive because of its altitude, which is more than 4,921 feet. This means that the decompression time will be equal to the time spent in diving at 1,112 feet below sea level. Several divers have dived deep into the Bushman's Hole, among them Tytus Clayton, a female diver. She had the deepest dive, reaching a depth of 725 feet on November 24, 2004. In 1993, Stephen Wade reached a depth of 197 feet, but became unconscious and was brought back to the surface by a diving buddy. He didn't survive the accident. In 1994, Nina Gomes led a diving team for dive training in preparation for the technical diving they planned to do in the week that followed. Dion Dreyer was invited for this dive. By then, Dion was a 20-year-old recreational scuba diver from South Africa. He was raised in Vereniging, which is some distance away from Johannesburg, by his father, Dion Dreyer, and mother, Marie Dreyer. He was an adventurer, and some of the things he was passionate about were diving, hunting, motorcycling, and racing a souped-up car. Bushman's Hole is a fascinating sinkhole that draws the attention of every youngster who has a flair for adventure, just like Dion. With only 2 years of cave diving experience, Dion received an invitation to join the South African Cave Diving Association as a support diver at Bushman's Hole. He accepted the offer honorably, as that was his passion, and he was ready to go for it. They set out for the training on December 17, 1994, at the Bushman's Hole. As they made their dives into the deep water, everyone was enjoying their dives until something went wrong with one of them. It was Dion. He had gotten to the depth of about 164 feet from the surface while ascending. The other divers noticed that his light was fading from their sight. Dion was sinking back into the abyss. They tried to rescue him, but before they could lay hold of him, he had gone too far. His diving buddies assumed that he might have lost consciousness. When diving to such extreme depths, the partial pressure of the oxygen rises to such a level that it becomes toxic to the central nervous system, also known as oxygen toxicity or oxygen poisoning. It can cause various symptoms, such as breathing difficulties, dizziness, and seizures. Dion might have suffered from oxygen toxicity. Nobody fully grasped the mystery behind Dion's sinking, but some locals believe that there used to be a particular serpent that fed on humans inside the sinkhole. However, it is believed that what could have caused his death was something other than the so-called serpent. Dion might have breathed too heavily, resulting in carbon dioxide building up in his lungs, which later made him unconscious. Dion had his last dive at the Bushman's Hole. It was a tragic moment for everyone, as his body was lost in the water. However, 2 weeks after his death, Dion's father, in his grief, hired a small remotely operated sub used by the De Beers Mining Company. The devastated father tried to get the body of his son out of the cold water. Unfortunately, only Dion's dive helmet was found right on the center floor. His body was not seen. After this attempt at Dion's body recovery, no one was able to recover his body from the Bushman's Hole. Some would say, soldiers go, soldiers come, but barracks remain. That is exactly the right word for the Bushman's Hole. Many divers died within the cave, yet many people are still intrigued by the extreme depth of Bushman's Hole, pushing themselves beyond the limit. Years will be out. It was now about 10 years since Dion died in the Bushman's Hole. Everyone has almost forgotten about Dion Dreyer, whose body was meant to be recovered from the Bushman's Hole. But the plaque his father placed on a rock at the Bushman's Hole kept reminding those that got to the site that Dion's body remains in this sinkhole. In October 2004, Dave Shaw dove down the Bushman's Hole. Dave Shaw was unbelievable for the couple at first, but Dave assured them he would return to recover the body from the bushman's hole. Dave and Don Shirley, another diver, worked for the recovery operation. This is the deepest underwater recovery in history. The two divers made a complex dive plan for the recovery, but they needed up to 9 divers to make the dive. They were worried about recovering a body that must have remained almost a skeleton, and the body could have fallen apart. So they decided to go with a bag to carry Dion's body. The recovery team prepared for the operation. They had all the equipment ready. Dave and Don were acquainted with most of the equipment they were about to use, saying the helmet camera that Dave wanted to use. It was a new camera, and he had never used one before. The recovery team all gathered in Bushman's Hole 2 days before the final dive. They were all given their specific roles, and Dave was to go and get the body from the depths where it was lying. They instructed the team openly to be careful and not risk their own lives for the sake of getting the body out of the sinkhole in case anything went wrong during the dive. However, Dave and Don had a private agreement to signal with their flashlight in case they needed each other's help. Dave dove to a depth of 886 feet, a place where he had earlier found the body of Dion. He was supposed to place the body into the bag and take it to a depth of 725 feet, where Don would be waiting to help bring it to the surface with a decompression of about 10 hours. The people at the surface were waiting for them, but they could see no sign of anyone from the recovery team coming out with Dion's body. So Skype knew that something had gone differently from the planned dive, which had caused such a delay. But the exact situation that happened was still unknown to them, so they kept waiting. Don, who was waiting for Dave at a depth of 725 feet, also became concerned when Dave wasn't showing up. He noticed that no bubbles were coming from around the place where Dave had dived. By now, bubbles were supposed to have been coming from the ascent of Dave, but there was nothing. Then he saw a dim light far off, but it wasn't moving. They thought Dave might have been faced with serious narcosis because of the depth of the dog. Narcosis affects one's thinking ability, so in such a condition, you need to be fully focused to get your mind to think and solve
And a
whatever
skunk's
challenges
scent,
you are
creating a pungent zone of protection around the animal. Guys, before we reveal the last one, which would you rather have as a pet? If you choose cat, hit like. If you choose dog, hit subscribe. And if you want both, like and subscribe. Finally, number 1, striped polecat, also known as the zorilla. This African mammal holds the title for one of the foulest smells in the animal kingdom. Its anal glands produce sulfur compounds that can be smelled up to half a mile away. If targeted in the eyes, the painful spray causes severe burning and temporary blindness, giving this small predator time to escape safely. 5 animals that smell.
Dave's death was a great agony for them, but they consoled themselves. These divers later went back to Bushman's Hole to recover all the equipment and firearms that were left after the failed recovery operation. While they did this, they saw the bodies of Dion and Dave pulled up from the base of the sinkhole. There was a ledge in the crevice very close to the surface. That was a great surprise to the society. They assumed they'd find the dive lasted earlier without noticing it. On site, Dave was completely confident bringing Dion's body back to the surface. Please subscribe to our channel for more exciting cave diving stories. A sinkhole is located within the Chatsworth Wildlife Management Area in West Central Florida, and it has an amazing underwater cave system. If you judge this sinkhole by its surface outlook, you will never think such a beautiful world exists.
There is no way.
Hi, fellas. I show Steve, a teenage gamer except
Sinkholes with an unattractive surface area and rugged entrance passages. You can call it a dangerous beauty. Of course, it is beautiful, but it can be dangerous right inside the cave, too. What are those discouraging things at the surface of this sinkhole? At the surface, the water is a greenish color, like a pond filled with algae. It's dark and difficult to see through, unlike the nearby Universe Springs and Wiki Watch, which have crystal clear waters. It's just as though it's the home for alligators, mosquitoes, and ticks. Even with all these discouraging sights on the surface,
is that
there
baby
are a
itty bitty?
handful of professional divers who have made their way into the underwater cave systems. For one, the Eagle's Nest is indeed a paradise. It's an admirable, top-notch underwater cave system. The visibility in the sinkhole becomes really under pressure situations, that is, with the motion of the Florida archipelago and the prevailing amount of sea stuff. The EHS sinkhole is a motion board that shows different diving positions encountered by divers who have previously been there. A wind visibility and diving by rail with zero visibility are the major conditions stated on the motion board. Many times when you get to this sinkhole, you will discover that it's been covered with tar.
I was born in Los Angeles,
Natural
California,
organic coloring
in Compton
dye
Hospital.
that makes the water turn darker than usual. In some favorable conditions, the water can sometimes be very clear. When you dare to enter it, it's like you're looking at a different world entirely. It's fascinating, magnificent, and risky, all at the same time. Even this sinkhole is only advisable for those who are qualified and
What's
experienced.
cracking? I finally got a motherfucker on here checking me. Man, I'm just trying to go live, man. You know what I'm saying? I just want to get up in here and just fucking talk to the people, man. Who are you? What's up with you, man? Yeah, man. I was watching myself, but now what's up with you? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Let's talk about it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's me, TLC, man. I'm chilling at the house with a motherfucking cat and a mouse, baby. What's the dilly, McNilly? It's your boy, the real McCoy. I'm trying to get up here and give up some cotton and talk to you. Talk back to the Mac, then back, yeah, baby. You know what I'm saying? Finally, somebody watched me on live. I be throwing them shorts out there, get hella views on the shorts, but on the live, man, it's hard to get people to come check you out on the live, yo. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you for stopping, you know what I'm saying, and just checking your boy out. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. Even if you don't see, even if you sit for a minute, man, as long as you come and see your boy. You know what I'm saying? Like and check me out, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be going out in the streets, going live pretty soon, man, because there's a lot of good content out there. You know, with the homeless people and this and that and that and this. You know, I'm just a new cat out here trying to be somebody, man, trying to be seen, you know what I'm saying? And shit, man. So, you know, God bless you, man, you know what I'm saying? And shit, man. You know, one viewer, two viewers, man. Right now I got two viewers, you know what I'm saying? And that's just it's good, you know what I'm saying? That's what's good in the hood, man, you know what I'm saying? And shit. We just, you know, we fuck with this YouTube and we trying to come through, man, and just keep it popping, man. You know what I'm saying? It's the boy, man. It's your boy, McNiggity Nasty, man. You know what I'm saying? Ha! Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So what's up, man? Type something, say something, man. Holler at me, man. What's up with you, man? Talk to me. Tell me something. Say something to pimpin', man. Keep it easy. Fat, mean, greasy, man. I want to chat. I'm trying to talk. You know what I'm saying? You talk, I talk back, Mac. Holler at your boy, the real boy. MC Stinky Dinky, man. Yeah, man. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Talk to me. Talk to me. Man. All I want to say is what's up.
This primary tank is the one needed for the depth she had just reached. But unfortunately,
That's all. That's all I'm trying to do.
containing the right proportion of these three gases. Seeing the situation, Banks and Judy switched back to the
Yeah, man. You know,
because of this,
don't be afraid.
to ascend back to the
You know, don't be afraid.
is supposed to be a
You
progressive
see,
process.
I send my own self a message since nobody want to say nothing to the pimp. Now it's your turn.
Also called beds. Fast decompression
Holler at your boy.
cause gas embolism. Embolism is when blood circulation is obstructed due to the presence of bubbles or a blood clot in the bloodstream. At this point, time is not on their side to embark on a slow decompression. Because of the mistake in her primary tank,
Yeah.
Judy had been breathing more helium than necessary and almost zero oxygen. By the time they
Now you see that?
feet, Judy
That's all you gotta do,
was
man.
unconscious. However, her breath
It's really easy to get greasy, man. You know, send your boy the Goosey Ganoigan, the Hot McNoigan, the Lolly Nick Nicky. Come on, baby, where you at, man? What's the dealy, McNilly? I mean, you know, talk to your boy, the Greasy Bean, man. Come on, man. I just want to hear what you got to say, man. Yeah, hey, I got another one for you. You talk. I. Bow.
James Gary, a member of the University of South Florida's diving control board, came to help Rudy after returning from their dives.
I wonder why that one never popped up.
Unfortunate that it was the ascent that began a kaleidoscope of
You
challenges
know?
and the injuries under which she now struggles. She
Yeah, you talk to me, I talk back, baby. What's up, man? Oh, you left me. You left me, bitch. Dirty motherfuckers. Man.
the Spring Hill resident who was coming to Eagles Nest for some photographs using Helen's phone.
That's all right. They'll be back.
Rudy carried out
You'll be back.
because of the state Judy was in, CPR or cardiopulmonary resuscitation.
They'll be back, Manaki.
Natural technique used to revive someone whose heart has stopped beating. A life-saving emergency technique. Judy's heart came back to life 15 to 20 minutes after they began CPR. Her breathing was restored with CPR, but she was
I mean, shit.
consciousness.
I'm watching too, man. What the fuck, yo?
Attention, but help was not readily available at the moment. Major limitations to getting recovery help at the Eagles Nest sinkhole are the fact that it's located in a remote area and that it has an unpaved entrance. Though the roads are improved, they are still somewhat rough. They are still left with large potholes, and it's very difficult to get help at this site in case of an accident. As regards the case of Judy, inadequacy in supplies and transportation challenges greatly affected the response from the medical team. They had to rush the victim with a sport utility vehicle on a backboard without an IV drip. The ambulance and helicopter were waiting at the edge of the forest to take Judy to the hospital. Stephen Farmer, a fish and wildlife investigator, made 3 statements regarding the reasons Judy became badly injured at the cave site, agreeing with the words of Greg and James, saying, "We're trying mixed tanks and poorly mixed gases." There was a more analysis of the proportion of gases in her tanks. The isolation valve, which is attached to the manifold that connects the 2 tanks, was left closed, and she didn't check it to ensure it was open. Some professionals said that Judy was responsible for her equipment. All divers must check their breathing gases before starting their dive. As she tested the isolation valve, she would have noticed that the tanks were not evenly pressured and probably wouldn't have led to further problems leading to her canceling the dive. Rudy was unhappy all through that period and was unable to get comfortable because of Judy's health. Judy was flown to Shands and her status was classified as serious. In the first few weeks, expectations for recovery were very low. The doctors were amazed at Judy's survival for the first 24 hours after the dive. Her kidneys failed, and she experienced multiple heart attacks after being taken out of a hyperbaric chamber to treat air embolisms. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is an effective method carried out to increase the rate at which gas bubbles are removed survived with neurological damage, physical limitations in the arms and legs, and potentially paralysis. When she started, Judy required assistance getting into and out of bed. She struggled to maintain her equilibrium. She was out of breath after approximately 10 steps, even with the aid of a walker with wheels. She underwent months of intense therapy. After around 5 weeks, she was able to walk more than 300 feet. She had a fortunate life story, and one of her doctors described her recovery as miraculous. Also, her former physical therapist on the brain injury team at the Rehabilitation Center said, "For what she had, it was one of the best outcomes I've ever seen." Judy had outpatient therapy for an additional 6 months after being discharged from the hospital in January 2006. She spent that time regaining her strength, flexibility, and coordination. The next summer, Judy accomplished something that had previously seemed unimaginable. She went with Rudy, now her husband, on an open water dive in the Gulf of Mexico, right off the coast of Newport Richey. As she laid in bed during the months of her rehabilitation, she had been dreaming of it. In June 2007, she went back to work at Tampa General as an operating room nurse, but she eventually made the decision to go to the medical records division. Judy wanted to spend more time diving and didn't want to put in a lot of overtime. Judy resumed her exploration of underwater caverns after shaking off some rust and real anxieties. Several places, including Peacock Springs in North Florida, have been attempted by her.
Adding a team driver to her car insurance on Sunday would be something, but at Lemonade, she was not to freak out when you see a driver at the age of 25. Instead, you consider how much each person in your household actually drives your car, as well as how safely they drive, and you get a price based on that. This way, you don't overpay for a team driver who barely drives your car or barely speaks your language. Sign up for car insurance that isn't paying when your grid gets their license at lemonade.com/contact.
Yep, protein never tasted this good. Protein Eggo Waffle. Same great Eggo taste with 20% of your daily protein. Lego My Protein Eggo.
In Urgence du Roussel, a beautiful and very famous cave diving site in France. Many European divers came here to take classes and explore the cave. However, in 2021, 2 fatal incidents occurred in this cave, which we will cover in this video. Urgence du Roussel, or Roussel Cave, is located in Marcillac-sur-Seine, Occitanie region of France's Île province. France is one of the best places in the world for cave diving, with over 20,000 caves known to exist around the rivers of Lot and the Rhone. In the southwest is one of the most fascinating areas. Many of the long, deep caves found here have water that is mainly clean and warm, resulting in excellent diving conditions. The visibility often varies between 15 to 100 feet, and the water's average temperature is 14 degrees Celsius. The Lot is a real cave diving hotspot in Europe, containing more than 25 cave diving sites in the area. The area is popular for European divers who take classes there so they don't have to travel to Mexico or Florida. The Roussel Cave is one of the most famous caves in the area.
Good.
5,000
Go in the cage.
each year. It's located along the Seine River, which is a tributary of the Lot River. You go into the water via the staircase, which is made of boulders. To get to the entrance, you'll need to swim 114 feet in the Seine River. After a large, wide passage, the cave splits into 2 passages, one tunnel with an average depth of about 32 feet, and a second with an average depth of about 64 feet, running in the same direction. The shallow tunnel is beautifully carved by erosion, and a sort of wall-like surface with many craters provides a mirror-like sight for novice cave divers. After about 360 meters, the 2 passages meet again. After this point, the cave takes a few jumps into the depth, also called Queen by the French. is at a depth of 150 feet, which is suitable for novice cave divers. The other jump is only for the more experienced cave divers because of the depth of 262 feet. Roselle Cave is an archaeological site with one of the most extensive records of prehistoric cultures. Archaeologists discovered many artifacts reflecting over 10,000 years of use in a single location in the 1950s. In 1968, the Roselle was first dived by two divers from the Studio Club, Ovenia. Ibarra and Latam reached 492 feet. The line's greatest depth was 100 feet. It wasn't until 1973 that it was expanded to 984 feet. In 1975, Antoli and Turumbuan descended to Pit 4 and reached a depth of 147 feet. Over time, more exploration took place, particularly in the early 1980s, when Joachim Hasselmeyer inserted his knife into a rock and attached his line to a depth of 3,609 feet into the system. This knife is still there. Olivier Isner was the first to traverse Sub 1 on August 12, 1990. 10 hours, 35 minutes were spent diving back and forth at all. Lucky Slayer marks the conclusion of Siphon 1, after which you can move on to the following siphons. Roselle is made up of 5 sumps, Siphon 1 being the longest and deepest. The deep part starts in Pit 4 and can only be completed using Trimix mixes. Rick Stanton, Martin Farr, and Jason Ellison, among other gentlemen, explored the deeper sumps in the years that followed. The conclusion of Sump 5 was reached in 1989. The main line is 14,485 feet long in total. Unfortunately, situations occur frequently. Today we will cover 2 of the 3 incidents that happened in 2021 in the Roselle Cave. At the start of May 2021, Robert Kozubek, a Polish cave diver, arrived in France. He uploaded a photo on his Facebook profile along with the caption, "We are starting